The best anime of the season continues in my review of Attack on Titan, Episode 10. This was an episode that proved that the actual characters of Attack on Titan are just as interesting as the titular characters themselves. And I loved this one. This is an episode that had an epic speech in it. And I know that's a weird thing to bring up, but over the years as I've been watching anime, I've noticed something in some of the anime series I've watched. They love doing these huge, long, drawn-out, epic speeches that just pump you up to no end. And this episode actually featured one from the character Armin. And this was great because he's a character who has always been very timid and meek. And he has finally shown that he's actually got some balls this week. But there's a lot of build up to this moment. We pick up from last week where we get to see that Eren had just got done using his Sharingan abilities for the very first time, summoning his Susanoo. And what's really cool here is I love the way they've animated it. You get to go inside. You get to see from their point of view as they're looking up through the ribcage. You get to see his head is slowly moving. It's really creepy and just disturbing. And everybody's just freaked out as they should be. And then we finally get to see like Eren, how he's connected to the Titan. And there's basically all these tendons that are connected from his arm and on his face. And he starts to rip himself out from the body. And when he does so, that's when it finally starts to slowly disintegrate. As the smoke is clearing, they have to come up with a plan to figure out what they're going to do because Eren is freaked out. He doesn't know what's going on. He apparently has the ability to use Titan abilities, and he doesn't know what he's going to do with it. He's probably going to be killed by the military if they're not convinced, and that's why he decides he has to get out of there, and he has to get back to that basement that his dad was talking about because who knows what the fuck is going on there. But he also has a second plan, which relies entirely on Armin, and he's relying on him because he's always been really great at finding the best solution to anything. And what he wants him to do is try and convince them that he can actually help out the military with his Titan abilities, and this way they won't be killed. So Armin walks up through the smoke, and he gives his first speech, which is okay at best. And you think it might convince them, but then the captain's like, screw it, I'm going to kill you anyway. After this, though, this is when Armin gives his really, really badass speech. And I love when anime go over the top with simple movements. All he does is like do this boom thing, but it's like the coolest thing ever. And then he just pleads his case outright. He's like, I'm about to be killed, it doesn't matter, but we can use his abilities to turn the tide of this war. He's doing this all for the sake of mankind, and if he has to be killed, he has to be killed, and that's it. And pretty much everybody is convinced except for the captain, and he still decides he's going to fire on them. But that's when that old bald guy, Commander Pixis, finally comes in and grabs him. And he basically stops him from doing this, and he's the one who steps in and decides that Eren actually really is important for the sake of mankind. And that's where we get at the end of the episode. They're actually hanging out, and they're looking out at all of the Titans that are slowly making their way into Trost. And that's when they discuss maybe they can use Eren to fight against them and everything. But he has to convince him. He has to make sure he's really in it to win it. Commander Pixis is hilarious. He's perpetually drunk pretty much all the time. And I love that they basically say he is incredibly eccentric, and that makes sense. He says a lot of really weird things, like he wants to be eaten by a really hot Titan lady. But I'm sure behind his eccentric nature, there's probably a really badass character in there. But what is cool is here he's starting to form a big plan with both Armin, Eren, and Mikasa, where essentially they're going to try to use Eren to turn into his Titan form so they can pick up this giant boulder and place it in the wall that the Titans have destroyed. So this way the Titans will stop coming in and they can finally start doing a little bit of friggin' cleanup. Pretty damn good episode right here, considering there weren't any of the actual Titans, doing what they do, just running around eating shit. This proves, like I said, that the characters themselves can move the series. And, it moved at a slightly slower pace, but I was still in it like the entire episode. I was just loving every second of it. It is the characters that make it, and Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are a really, really great balance of those different character types. Like I said, his speech was awesome. I love in anime when they do really cool speeches, like whatever comes to mind when I think of an anime speech, like Hellsing Ultimate, anything said by Anderson, or like from the Naruto, the beginning of the war for Gaara, anything from Kamina from Gurren Lagann. Armin's speech is sort of in line with that. It was just really well done and very convincing. So I can't wait to see what happens next. I obviously like this episode. It's pretty much a 10 out of 10 for me. So far the series, from 1 to 10, has so far been perfect. So we got 15 more to go through for this season. So I can't wait to see how they're going to handle it. But I'd love to know what you guys thought about this week's episode. I'd love to hear your favorite moments. You can let me know in your comments below. And you guys know the drill. Before you leave, hit the like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It's the best way to support Super Comic Guru 9000. Check out this video. It's my most recent review of the Naruto Shippuden anime series. It features Tarune and a filler, and it's pretty cool, and it's a big setup to when he's going to have to fight Shino. So make sure and check it out, like the video, and subscribe.